Well, hello there. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of 162 Times, your daily baseball recap and preview show. I'm your host, Daniel Turner. Great to be with you here, folks. We are back in Ottawa after a lovely civic holiday long weekend in Canada. Many folks enjoying the hot August weather, as I was. Lots of activities going on, lots of baseball being played, of course. And it is Monday, and though it is a holiday Monday, it has no bearing on the largely American baseball season. So we will still be bringing you, as usual, a slightly extended Sunday on a Monday recap. We had two great episodes the last 2 days. A game in which the Mariners won and scored 10 runs. A game in which the Mariners won and scored 5 runs and walked it off in the 10th. And so they were going for the sweep yesterday on Sunday afternoon in their beautiful cream-colored uniforms. Against the vaunted Philadelphia Phillies, who had lost 6 in a row. You know, good teams go through a bad stretch. We heard it on the broadcast, 8 dozen times. Not to say that it was a bad broadcast. And this was Zach Wheeler against Logan Gilbert, two premier pitchers in the National and American League. And unfortunately, it was a 6-0 final for the Philadelphia Phillies, taking the victory. Their first, as I said, in 7 games. The win moves the Phillies to 66 and 45, still first in the National League East. The Mariners, the loss now makes them 59 and 54, but that's still first place in the American League West. And the score didn't really belie the quality of the game or how the pitching was. The Phils got a run in the first inning off a Kyle Schwarber 114-mile-an-hour bomb. And then they got 5 runs in the 8th off the Mariners bullpen. But Gilbert was excellent. He was his usual excellent self. Overall, 6 runs for the Phils, 10 hits, no errors. The Mariners had only 3 hits and 1 error. That's not good enough to win a game, so it doesn't really come down to the pitching in this one. Wheeler moves to 11 and 5, 2.77 ERA on the season. Gilbert, 6 and 8. That's really doing him dirty, that record. He's got a 3.05 ERA after this start. So just to look at the pitching lines, Gilbert went 6 innings, 4 hits given up, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts, and a homer. Like I said, leadoff homer from Schwarber, and then he was lights out the rest of the way. Wheeler was amazing. 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. And then they went to Ruiz, who did an inning, gave up 1 hit, struck out 2. Overall, Phillies pitching struck out 11 Mariners. Mariners pitching struck out 9 Phillies, so the bullpen only got 2 Ks. 1 came courtesy of JT Chargois, and the other from new guy, Hernandez, Jonathan Hernandez, from Memphis, who pitched the 9th inning. So the way the bullpen went down was Chargois got the 7th, 1 inning, 1 K. Then it was Jimmy Garcia. He got beat up a bit. 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, both of them earned, 1 walk and a homer given up. Then Saucedo came in, got no outs, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 homers. Sauce was not on the boil last night. Trent Thornton did 1/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, and then Jonathan Hernandez came on, 1 hit, 1 K. Bob's your uncle. Gilbert went 98 pitches. Wheeler went 96. 96 pitches in 8 innings is amazing. M's were 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position, left 4 on base. Phils were 1 for 3. They left 5 on base, but they just started to mash the ball in that later half of the game. Bryce Harper was a standout for them. He was 3 for 4 with a run and 2 RBI. He also, I think he had a homer. We'll get to that in a second. But he was like 0 for 36 before this game. Anyway, he broke out in a big way. Schwarber was 3 for 5. You know, those guys led the way for the Mariners. The hits for the Phillies, The hits for the Mariners came courtesy of Robles, Marlowe, and Raleigh. Robles also made a couple really nice catches in center field, and he's just fun to watch play. He's very lively and bouncy and kind of fun out there. He's got some flair, as Dave Sims said on the broadcast. He's been a great revelation signing since we picked him up for next to nothing off after clearing waivers and signing him to a league minimum from the Washington Nationals. Good GMing there, Jerry. Scoring, top 1, as I said, Kyle Schwarber, 23rd of the year, fly ball to right field, 1-0 Phillies. Then top 8, all the way to the top of the 8, Bryson Stott homered, his 8th of the year, 2-0. Then Bryce Harper homered, 25th of the year, 4-0. That was a 2-run shot that scored Trey Turner. Then Alec Boehm homered, solo shot, 5-0. And JT Realmuto singled to score Brandon Marsh, making it a 6-0 final. All of that happening in the 8th inning, mostly off Saucedo and Garcia. So that's that. Mariners end that series with the win, a 2-1 series win, still very, very good. And they have the day off today on Monday, a rare Monday day off, and then they get set to face the Detroit Tigers. And the Tigers are coming to Seattle. And then they'll play another series, the Mariners will, and then they'll go to Detroit. So we're going to see a lot of the Tigers. Game 1 will feature Luis Castillo, 9-10, 3.43 ERA. He'll be going up against Montero, who's 1-5 with a 6.18 ERA. Later, however, in the series, I want to see which game it is. It might be the Monday game. Yeah, it's the Wednesday game, Wednesday, August 7th. That's Tarek Skubal, the lefty for Detroit, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. 12-4 he is with a 2.57 ERA. He'll be going up against George Kirby, the Raja of Rye, the Wizard of Westchester. 8-7 Kirby is with a 3.04 ERA. So mark your calendars for Wednesday night. That should be a beauty. And then on Thursday, Detroit hasn't named their starter yet, but the Mariners are going to go with Brian Wu, who's 5-1 with a 2.08 ERA. I mean, the Mariners do not have a lot to sneeze at when it comes to starting pitching. It's all pretty good. So we look forward to that series. It'll be an important one. Detroit has sort of fallen out of the wild card, as we'll see in a minute, but they're still a decent, annoying team. Let's call them an annoying team. All right, speaking of annoying teams, guess who lost 1-0 to the Rays on Sunday? The Astros. So the Mariners maintain their one-game division lead, as we'll see when we do our divisional roundup. Elsewhere in the American League on Sunday, the Royals beat the Tigers 3-2. Boo. The Orioles beat the Guardians 9-5. Division leaders, not really that impactful for the Mariners. Twins, however, beat the White Sox 13-7. That's a wild card impact. And the Red Sox beat the Rangers 7-2. So while the Mariners didn't lose any ground in the division, the Red Sox winning is not great for the inevitable wild card chase that will occur whether or not the Mariners win their division. The Angels beat the Mets 3-2, and the Dodgers beat the Athletics 3-2. And let's see, who else in the American League was playing? That's pretty much it. No, sorry, the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 4-3, so that also doesn't help the Mariners. So divisionally, their rivals lost, but in the wild card, their rivals all won. So not a super great day for the Mariners considering their loss. In the National League, for those interested, Giants over the Reds 8-2. Diamondbacks over the Pirates 6-5. Marlins over the Braves 7-0. Brewers lost to the Nationals 4-3. Cubbies beat the Cardinals 6-2, and the Padres beat the Rockies 10-2. So, an eventful game. Now, what does that all mean for the standings? So let's move to the standings, and we'll start with the divisional roundup, and then we'll go into the wild card. We'll kind of do both at the same time, frankly, because I can read, I can walk and chew gum, right, at the same time. So starting with the Hogs in the American League East, you got your Baltimore Orioles leading the division with a 67-46 record. They're tied, actually, with the Yankees, who also have a 67-46 record. Both are therefore 4 games up in the wild card. They've won 2 in a row each. The O's have an 89 run differential, and the Yankees have a 121 run differential. So who's the better team? I don't know. They keep going back and forth. Baltimore's been struggling a bit. 6-4 over the last 10, whereas the Yankees are 7-3. Not much differentiating them, though, right? The Boston Red Sox are in third place. They're 59-51. 6.5 games back in the division and 2.5 games back in the wild card with a plus 33 run differential. Still a very good team. Fourth place belongs to the Tampa Bay Rays, 57-54. 9 games back in the division, 5 games back in the wild card. They're not out of it in the wild card by any means. They have a minus 43 run differential. The Blue Jays are last place, 51-61. 15.5 back in the division, 11.5 back in the wild card. I'm calling it. They're done. They have a minus 88 run differential, and they sold everybody off at the deadline, obviously. All right, moving to the juggernaut American League Central, the Cleveland Guardians lead that division with a 67-44 record, a 604 winning percentage, which moves them into category of best team in baseball. They have a plus 85 run differential, a 4.5 game lead in the division over the Minnesota Twins, who are 62-48. They're 4.5 back, as I said, in the division, but they have a half game lead advantage in the wild card. So they're in the playoffs as of this moment. They have a plus 59 run differential. Right behind them are the Kansas City Royals, 63-50. 5 games back in the division, in a wild card spot, in the third wild card spot currently in the American League, and they have a plus 95 run differential, which is better than Baltimore's. They're really good. They're 7-3 in their last 10 too. Coming on their heels are the Tigers at 53-60, 15 back in the division, 10 back in the wild card. If I said the Jays were done, then I ought to say the Tigers are done too. They have a minus 24 run differential, and they're just a little scrappier and a little hungrier than the Blue Jays. Fifth place in the AL Central, however, belongs to the Chicago White Sox, who the Mariners recently swept. And those White Sox have a 27-87 record. They've lost 20 games in a row, which hasn't happened since 1988. They're 41.5 games back in the division. They're 36.5 back in the wild card. They have a minus 247 run differential, which is just obscene. They've only won 10 games on the road all season. They're 10-47 on the road. Unbelievable. They're historically bad. I'm not going to say any more. All right. Then the most important division in baseball, the American League West. So the Seattle Mariners are 59-54. They lead the division. They have a one-game lead on the Astros, and they are not any games back in the wild card because they are leading the division. They also have a plus 24 run differential. They're 6-4 in their last 10. And the Astros are right behind them, as I said, a game back at 57-54. They're also 5 games back in the wild card, and they have a plus 41 run differential. Then come the Rangers at 53-59, 5.5 back in the division, 9.5 back in the wild card. Their best hope is to catch Houston and Seattle, really. They have a minus 20 run differential. Then come the Angels and the Athletics. Angels 49-63, Athletics 46-67. Both of them double digits back in the wild card. Angels are 9.5 back in the division. They have a minus 96 run differential. The A's have a slightly better run differential at minus 73, but that's still putrid. Moving to the National League, in the NL East, the Phils lead it still, 6 games up on the Braves with a 66-54 record, but they're 2-8 in their last 10, and they have a plus 99 run differential. They're still good. Don't worry about them. The Braves 60-51, 6 games back in the division, a half-game cushion in the wild card currently with a plus 55 differential. Then come the New York Mets, 59-53, 7.5 back in the division. They've now fallen out of the wild card, so they're a game back in the wild card with a plus 34 run differential. Run differential doesn't mean anything, but I think it's important just to kind of tell you, are they legit or not? There's no real weird outliers with the run differentials in this division. Fourth place, Nationals, 51-62, 9.5 back in the wild card, 16 back in the division, minus 59 on the differential. They've pretty much fallen out of contention. Then there are the Miami Marlins, who are 42-70, 24.5 back in the division, 18 back in the wild card, and they have a minus 140 run differential. They're going to finish last in that division, that's for sure. The National League Central features the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers, 62-49, plus 79 on the differential. They have a 6-game lead on the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are in second place. Those Pirates are 56-55, 3.5 back in the wild card with a minus 5 differential. Then come the St. Louis Cardinals, 57-56. 6 games back in the division, 3.5 back in the wild card, but they have a 100th of a percentage point worse record than the Pirates, so they're sitting in second place right now. But they also have a minus 48 differential, so that's kind of the outlier there, where the Cardinals had a horrible start to the season. They've pulled it together, but their differential is still bad. We've said that all year. The Cubs are in fourth place, 55-59, 8.5 back in the division, 6 back in the wild card, even on the run differential. And then come the Reds, 53-58, 9 back in the division, 6.5 back in the wild card. Not out of it. And they have a plus 28 run differential still. So very interesting. That whole division is 4-6 in their last 10, 5-5, 4-6, 6-4, 5-5. So I still think the Central and the National League is very interesting. Up for grabs, see who might make the playoffs there. What's changed is the National League West. They've gotten better. So the Dodgers still lead at 65-47, plus 96 differential, 4.5 game lead in the division. Boom. Second place in the NL West are the Padres. So they're 4.5 back in the division, but they have a half-game cushion in the wild card. 61-52 they are. They're 8-2 in their last 10 with a plus 48 differential. They've really come on strong. Then come the Arizona Diamondbacks. 60-52, 8-2 in their last 10, plus 45 on the differential. They keep winning. Five games back in the division of the Dodgers and in a wild card spot currently, which has changed. since we last did this. So that's been really, really interesting. Then come the San Francisco Giants, who are 57-57, 9 back in the division, 4 back in the wild card, 8-2 in their last 10 with a -8 differential. So they've been flirting with 500 all year, but they're starting to put it together. Blake Snell threw a no-hitter last week. I mean, they've got some players. The Rockies are out of it, 5th place in that division, 41-72, 19.5 back in the wild card, 24.5 back in the division, -180 on the differential. So they join the Marlins and the White Sox and the Athletics and the Angels as the real crap teams. The class of the league are the Orioles, the Yankees. Class of the majors, rather, are the Orioles, Yankees, Guardians, Phillies, Brewers, and Dodgers, really. Everybody else is kind of in a different secondary category. The Royals have a great run differential, but they're not really, record-wise as strong as those other teams. So it's really, really fascinating. The wild card, just to recap for you guys, currently in the American League, it is, the Yankees and Orioles have the same record, so they're tied. But they have a 4-game cushion. Either one of those teams do. Then the Twins have a half-game cushion. Then come the Royals. All those teams would make the playoffs currently. The Red Sox are therefore 2.5 games back of Kansas City in the final American League wildcard spot, followed by the Astros 5 games back, the Rays 5 games back. Then it skips to the Rangers at 9.5, the Tigers at 10, and then you get to the Blue Jays, Angels, A's, and White Sox, right? So realistically, in the American League, there are... Boston, Houston, Tampa, Texas, Seattle, Kansas City, and Minnesota are all fighting for a couple playoff spots, really. National League's much more interesting and closer in that the wild card is currently the Braves and Padres, who each have a half-game cushion only. The Diamondbacks sit in a wild card spot. Then, just out of the playoffs are the New York Mets, a game back of Arizona. The Pirates are 3.5 back. Cardinals are 3.5 back. The Giants are 4 back. The Cubs are 6 back, and the Reds are 6 back. That leaves really only the Nationals, Marlins, and Rockies who are out of it. And the Nationals, if they went on a crazy run, they could kind of get back into it. They're only 9.5 games back in the wild card, so pretty interesting there. In terms of the American League, so Baltimore's playing Toronto in Toronto. The Yankees are hosting the Angels. The Twins are at Chicago in the National League, so they're playing the Cubbies at Wrigley. The Royals are hosting Boston. The Astros are at Texas. The Rays are at St. Louis. And the Tigers are at the Mariners. So, interesting series there. I would say advantage Yankees, Orioles. Hard to say. Good matchups. In the National League, the Braves are hosting Milwaukee. The Padres are visiting Pittsburgh. The Diamondbacks have to go to Cleveland. That's tough. The Mets have to go to Colorado. That's easy. The Pirates are playing San Diego in Pittsburgh. And the Cardinals are playing the Rays at home. The Giants have the Nationals on the road. So that, interesting. Really, really interesting. Can't wait for next Monday where we take a look at where things stand at that point. But, that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should have recognized. I mean, I missed the fact that Jonathan Hernandez got called up to pitch for the Mariners, but, whatever. And where we'll tune in avidly and intently to the Tigers series as they make their way to Seattle tomorrow. Thanks for listening.